What is going on? I want to welcome you from F Court. I am Sean Murphy, and today we got to talk about Cam Thomas because holy, this kid is popping off. This guy just went for his third straight 40-point game, making him the youngest player in NBA history to go for three straight 40-point performances. It's so insane that my voice can't even keep intact. It's like I'm not even a man. But anyway, enough about my overall, masculinity. Let's talk about Cam Thomas. I mean, first of all, I know a lot of people are going to look at these performances and they immediately are going to go, well, he's not going to be able to keep this up forever. Well, no, he's not going to be able to keep this up forever. But you know what? He doesn't have to. Once Kevin Durant comes back in the lineup, if he can at least put up 15, 16 points a game for the Nets, Cam Thomas could be a significant, valuable piece for the Nets going down the stretch. And the fact that he's doing all this at 21 years old is insane. First of all, I remember when Cam Thomas was drafted and people were saying, look out, Cam Thomas, he's a hooper. And from what we could tell too, it seems like he had a close relationship with Kyrie Irving as well. He was one of the players in the locker room that was a Kyrie Irving fan. And say what you will about Kyrie Irving, I know I've been quite critical of him over the last life of mine. But, the big thing about Kyrie Irving is that you hear that players love him. And if guys can learn from, his skill set and what he can do on the court and, use some of the things that he can pass on and, quite frankly, bring it in his bag, then, that's not a bad thing at all. And, ever since Kyrie's requested this trade, I mean, that's what's allowed Cam Thomas to be able to have these performances. And so, first of all, to look at what exactly is the secret behind Cam Thomas having this insane scoring stretch, I mean, it starts with the shooting. Cam Thomas in his second 40-point game went 7 for 11 from the three-point line, and that's where you go right away, oh, well, yeah, that's just not going to continue. But the fact that he does have that type of confidence to shoot it from beyond the arc, I mean, over his career, he has been about a 32% three-point shooter. This season, however, that's been increased to 44%. If he can be about 40% and increase his points per game and increase his volume over time, that's a valuable piece. Will he be able to do that consistently? We will see. Another thing to note as well, and looking at the competition that he played against, first of all, the first 40-point game was against Washington Wizards, so take that what you will. However, it was also the next two were against the Los Angeles Clippers and the Phoenix Suns. And, those two teams, even though the Suns are shorthanded, I mean, the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are very much in that game. Cam Thomas was able to go out and do what he did. And tonight against the Suns, he was able to go out. He was 11 to 23 from the floor. And in particular, he was only 3 of 9 from beyond the arc. So the other thing about Cam Thomas is how deep he can go in his bag, how athletic he is. He can get to the hole, but also he's really good at drawing fouls and drawing contact too. I mean, he went 18 of 20 from the free throw line. He got to the line for 20 attempts against Phoenix. I mean, the fact that Cam Thomas has that IQ and is able to get to the line, draw that type of contact. I mean, over the last couple of games, he's gotten to the line combined 20 times in the other two games as well. So this is something that seems to be a trend and seems like something that if he can do this with more playing time, I think that's a great thing for him. And the problem with Cam Thomas has just been he hasn't been able to have that consistent role in the lineup, whether that's been because of health, whether that's just been because of who's been available with Kyrie and with everything that's been going on with the team. Obviously now, Spencer Dinwiddie, I'm going to go on a limb and say that Spencer Dinwiddie is going to probably be your starting point guard, whatever happens. I mean, I'm sure Cam Thomas is more than making a case for himself that he needs more playing time or that he needs to at least be that starting two guard for now. And then I think from there, what you do with the lineup is up to you. I would say a lineup of Spencer Dinwiddie, Cam Thomas, Dorian Finney-Smith, Kevin Durant, and Nick Claxton. That's an intriguing five to throw out there. I'm not saying that's a title-winning lineup by any means, but if Cam Thomas can become he doesn't have to become this 40-point-a-game guy or even become this all-star guard, but if he can become almost this Tyrese Maxey type player for the Brooklyn Nets and start to develop and become this spark plug guy, whether he's, starting for you or coming off the bench, and just be a young player that could be a consistent bucket for you, that would be an amazing thing for the Brooklyn Nets to have, and especially for a franchise that gave up so many assets to make the Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving thing happen. For them to have a young player like Cam Thomas who's succeeding within their system, and to have some guys who are showing some signs of life and development, I mean, that's just everything that you need to see if you're a Brooklyn Nets fan and more. Because that says, you know what? At the very least, everything's going to be okay because we have remnants of something here. If we ever have to, God forbid, hit the nuclear button and trade Kevin Durant, because let's be honest, after Kyrie Irving makes a trade request overnight and just, all of a sudden is gone by Sunday, you'll kind of wonder what's in Kevin Durant's mind. You think seeing a 21-year-old Cam Thomas going out and scoring 40 points a night is making him feel pretty encouraged. By the way, the fact that we're seeing all of this from Cam Thomas and not a damn thing from Ben Simmons, this isn't like a Ben Simmons bashing video. I remember even earlier in the year, I remember doing a TikTok like praising him for starting to play pretty well, but man, he is completely disinterested with the offensive side of the ball, and it seems like if he's not sucking it up on the court, he's a late scratch due to a knee soreness or back tightness or whatever thing he comes up with for not wanting to be on the court. But what is fun is guys like Cam Thomas and even other guys in the rotation as well for the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, Nick Claxton as well is another guy that's shown a lot of life as far as his development. If he can just get some muscle on him, he's going to be one of the better bigs in the league. He's an amazing rim protector already. He's shown the ability to guard multiple positions and switch as well. Like, this is a guy who deserves to be on the all defensive team. And so when I'm looking at what the Brooklyn Nets are cooking with right now, if they can make a trade and do something with the Spencer Dinwiddie contract and potentially even get Fred VanVleet, you're talking about Fred VanVleet, Cam Thomas, Dorian Finney-Smith, Kevin Durant, Nick Claxton. I mean, come on, that's not bad. And the other thing as well, you never know. Phoenix is another team that's potentially looking to make some trades. If I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I am picking up the phones. I am seeing everything that I can do to continue to make this team as competitive as humanly possible, because I think there's genuinely some good pieces here. And then when Seth Curry comes back and is healthier and is able to be in the lineup more consistently, when you have Joe Harris, clicking on a more consistent basis as well. I know we talk about the Brooklyn Nets being doom and gloom, but honestly, now that Kyrie Irving is out of the equation and these guys can just focus on basketball, outside of the Kyrie Irving drama, there's been some really good basketball being played in Brooklyn. I think, quite frankly, Jacques Vaughn deserves a lot of praise for the job that he's done. I mean, he's 31-16 in his time as the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. He's essentially turned that team around, and with his leadership and his vision, he's been able to make that team much more legitimate. Granted, part of that was the play of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant in joint succession and what they were doing together. But now with the roster that they have, I don't necessarily see them taking a massive step back. I mean, granted, it's going to be a lot harder for them to be able to succeed until Kevin Durant gets in the lineup. And this team is really going to go as far as Kevin Durant takes them. I mean, if he finally sees this as his team, takes on the leadership role and says, hop on my back, let's go as far as I can take you, then I think this Brooklyn Nets team can even get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not saying that they're getting to the finals because, quite frankly, I think whoever wins between Milwaukee and Boston in the Eastern Conference, I think they're going to win the championship. I think that's the most likely path. However, Kevin freaking Durant is hard to beat 4 times in any given series. Even though we've seen some rough performances from him over the last couple of years in the playoffs, I'm not betting against Kevin Durant. I'm not betting against Kevin Durant in a playoff series on almost any given night. But with that, I'm excited to see the development of Cam Thomas. I'm thrilled to see some of the success that's coming out of the Brooklyn Nets. I'm looking forward to seeing what Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, and these guys look like in this system as well. Again, I don't think the Nets necessarily got a bad deal out of this. And I also think they have some chips to where they can make this team better as well. Let me know what your thoughts are on Cam Thomas and the Brooklyn Nets as well. What you would like to see them address during the trade deadline, and potentially what free agents you'd like to see them potentially go for in the offseason as well. That's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you guys next time from Half Court. Be sure you subscribe.